What is going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So this is just going to be a short and sweet video about some equipment that you might see in the gyms. You'll see some guys and girls lifting with certain pieces of equipment. You might think they're fashion accessories, but they are not. I guarantee you that they are there to help you in your training. So I've got three items here. Now I use all three of these myself, and I'll go into some detail as to why as I go through each one. So let's start with item number one, the weight belt. Now, you'll see a lot of people using these in the gym now, and for good reason. So usually they're made of leather, thick leather with a pad, or they'll be like a material with a Velcro strap. This is quite an old-fashioned one, which is the way that I prefer them, with a buckle. You're able to pull it really tight and it's not going to go anywhere. So what are they for? So the weight belt is designed to support your core in your lifts. So lifts where you are hinged at the hips, for like a deadlift, for example, or a Romanian deadlift, or anything where you're pushing above your head, or anything where you're loading the spine, so a squat, for example, or a military press, a standing shoulder press. So it's designed to to brace your core, to help brace your lower back and to support you. So the tighter the better. So as you tighten it, you're able to push out against the belt as you're lifting. So it's just designed to really give you some good support for your heavier lifts. Now, is it necessary? No. I would not recommend using a belt if you're a novice lifter. If you're new to the gym, you do not need to have one of these. They can be quite expensive as well, but they are not necessary. The reason for that is you want to strengthen your core through lifting naturally. Yeah, you want to make sure that you're strengthening your core properly through your lifts without using a belt, which could potentially take away some of that strength as you progress. So what that means is, as you progress through your training career and your lifts get slightly heavier, if you've been using a belt from day one, the chances are your core won't be as strong as it could have been as you progress. So definitely don't bother investing in one of these if you're a novice lifter. Really focus on your lifts first. As you start to lift heavier, if you start to squat heavier, deadlift heavier, these can be helpful. So I would avoid using it initially, but definitely worth investing in as you progress through your training career. And as your lifts get heavier, that one of these will definitely support you. I use these in most of my heavy hinge lifts, or my lifts where I'm loading the spine, squats, for example, and it helps me a ton. So worth investing in one of those later on in your career, not before. Okay, number two. Now, you may or may not have seen these in the gym, but you know, they are quite common. Now, these are called wrist wraps. Okay, so they look like that. They're quite stretchy material. They have a thumb loop and a Velcro strap to wrap it around your wrist. Now, this is basically the wrist version of the belt. So it's designed to brace your wrist and stop your wrist from buckling as you're pressing away from you, so above your head. So anything where you're pressing above your head or pushing away from your body, these will help strengthen and support your wrists. It will stop your wrist from buckling if you're lifting very, very heavy dumbbells or heavy barbells. So basically that's what that does. It's the same thing. So you put your thumb through, you wrap it around. Now, you don't want to wrap it around your forearm or your hand, okay? You want to wrap it around sort of the lower portion of your hand and the lower portion of your forearm, yeah? So you want to wrap it relatively tight, but you don't want to pull it too tight where you cut the circulation for your hand, because you won't be able to lift anything. So wrap it around, nice and secure. A lot of people don't bother using that, but you're going to want to put that on at least whilst you're wrapping it. It's just gonna, you know, so this doesn't go flapping around everywhere, but you can take that off at the end. So basically that's what that does, okay? And it keeps your wrist nice and solid, and as you're pressing heavy dumbbells or heavy barbells away from you or above your head, it's gonna support your wrist and stop your wrists from buckling. Again, same as the belt. As a novice lifter, or if you're just getting started weightlifting, you don't need these, okay? You wanna make sure that you're strengthening your forearms and your grip and your wrists as you progress through your training. Again, you don't want to use these from day one, and then as you progress through your lifts, your grip and your forearm strength and your wrist support naturally is just not there. So you'll just get seriously injured. So save these for later on in your training as your lifts get heavier. You do not need these to start with, so don't bother getting those initially. Again, same with the belt. As you progress through your training, you become more strong. You've built some core strength and some solid wrist support and strength. That's when you should really be looking at getting something like this. Last but not least, similar to the last one, the wrist wraps, this is a wrist strap, or a lifting strap as they're called. Now, again, it goes around the wrist. Now, these are not stretchy. These are just solid material, again, thick. There's a loop at one end, and the end is just an end. Now, what these do is help you pull things basically towards you, again, for your heavy lifts. So anything like a deadlift, or even a lat pull down. I mean, I do sometimes use these for heavy lat pull downs if I'm doing very, very heavy pull down work. Some people will hate me for that, but and they'll say, oh, you won't train your grip or anything by doing that. But I'm not training my grip, I'm training my lats. So if I can load up my lats with a lot more weight by using one of these, then that's what I will do. So basically what you do is you put the end through the loop, you put your hand through the hole, and the long bit goes between your finger and your thumb, and you pull it tight, and it will sit like that, yeah? So you do the same with the other hand, and then you will wrap that around the bar. But you'll be doing it with one hand, so it'll be quite tricky. And then you want to tighten it as tight as you can go without cutting the circulation off. And then that will help you. If you do it properly, you will potentially be able to lift the bar off the floor without actually touching it. This will just be wrapped around the bar, and you'll be able to do that. And that's how that takes the pressure off your grip, off your forearms, and you're able to load up the muscle that you're training a lot more. So those are worth investing in. Again, the same as the other two. You don't really want to be using these from day one. Save your money. Really focus on the quality of movements in your lifts, and obviously your forearm strength, your grip strength, and your core strength with all of these pieces of equipment. And that's going to help you really get a good base level as you progress through your lifts. So that's what those three are. I hope that cleared a few things up for you. So if you are starting out, definitely don't bother investing in those initially. They can cost quite a bit of money, especially the weight belt. But yeah, to start with, that's not something that you need. So there you go, guys. A little tip for you today. I hope that helped. Please hit like, subscribe if you haven't already, comment below, and I will see you guys in the next video.